Hi guys, I'm JK. I work as a customer success specialist here at Catapult, and I'm based in South Korea. And today I'm gonna walk you through how we analyze a lot of data from the tactical and contextual perspectives by using our Vector Pro system. Let's crack on.
The KFA's under 22 team participated in Qatar under 22 Cup last year, and I joined the team as a sports scientist. We played against three teams: Oman, Iraq, and UAE. The physical coach wanted to understand the context behind high-speed running activities, so we decided to try contextualized analysis of wearable data with open field and focus in this competition. Firstly, we made each player's sprint profile by bringing their sprint data from open field and importing it into Focus, and we checked when they exactly performed sprint with synced video. Before we get started, I did some research to understand how others had approached a similar topic, and I found that Ju, who works for KFA as a data scientist, classified high-speed running activities into in-projection and out-projection. Then here are a number of sprint types which are classified to. When we look at the in-projection sprint, there are run with ball, over and underlapping, and push-up pitch, move to receive, support play. On the other hand, in terms of out-projection, there are recovery run, covering, interception, close down, and press. Then I brought some example data that I created in this competition here. Then let's compare two fullbacks profiles here. Okay, player A was right fullback and he had done total 34 sprints throughout 3 matches. As he's a defender, he has done the most sprint in recovery situation. Then the second most sprint has been done in move to receive. And the third most sprint occurred in support play. Then let's take a look at player B's data. Like player A, he has also done the most sprint in recovery, but in terms of second most sprint, he has performed 6 times of under and overlapping. And he hasn't performed sprint in support play, unlike player A. Then let's see the recovery sprint that two players have done the most. They located offensively, then they lost possession, so they had to be back to their own third for the defense. Then this is the move to receive sprint that player A has done the second most. When the ball was being switched from the left side, he sprinted toward the empty area like this. Then this is the under and overlap sprint that player B has done the second most. He's kind of inverted fullback, so he located inside of field like a midfielder when we have possession. Then when the ball goes to wing forward, he's usually done underlapping like this. So this sprint profile that we created in Doha Cup was used as part of scouting report for the next competition, Asian Games. Okay, let's move on to the next method of wearable integration. In this method, we did tactical phases tagging in Focus and brought this into open field to identify how much volume and intensity were in each tactical phase, or how much distance or high-speed running distance they covered in its tactical phase. So as you know, it doesn't matter how much distance they covered, as data can be affected by various facts such as opponent, tactics, or weather. Yeah. So describing physical performance without the context is only telling a part of the story. So it is really important to consider how and in which situations players perform efforts and occur distance. Once we had done this, we could start to build a picture of which phases the team was covering the most distance and high-speed distance. It was very apparent that we needed to reduce the load in the turnover phase of the game and increase our output in counterattack situation. Furthermore, this chart shows each player's total distance and high-speed running distance in counterattack. Even though player A was playing only 15 minutes as a substitute, but he covered the most HSR distance in counterattack. So this kind of information can provide physical data combined tactical point of view to coaching staff. Among various tactical phases, personally, turnover is the most effective one in Doha Cup. For your information, turnover phases start from the moment we lose the possession due to our mistakes, and it lasts until we regain the possession or sequence ends. That means if we didn't lose the ball by our mistakes, we didn't have to cover those amount of distance. So we say turnover distance equals unnecessary distance. Like I said before, we had 3 matches in Doha Cup. Players had covered around 11 kilometers of turnover distance in the previous 2 matches. Honestly, we had no idea if it was good or bad because it was our first time to do this work. But when we converted it as a percentage, there was more than 10% of total distance. We thought that it was huge. So before the final match against UAE, we presented this turnover data and clip to them, and we said, "Hey guys, we covered 11 kilometers in the previous matches by turnover, but we think if we can minimize this kind of distance from turnover, our hilarious mistakes, we could save our energy and we can be more efficient in terms of our physical." So, and then in the subsequent game against the UAE, we saw massive reduction in total distance and high-speed running distance. Of course, it wasn't the only reason they could reduce turnover distance in the final match, but it might have reminded them to be aware of their mistake. Then after Doha Cup, we had 2 friendly matches against China for the preparation of Asian Games. At the time, physical coach and I wanted to figure the intensity of transition phases. Then this chart shows meter per minute and HSR per minute in both transition phases, offense and defense transition. As you can see the chart, intensity in offense transition was quite lower compared to the defense transition. So I decided to go over every offense transition's intensity in open field cloud like that. Then yeah, it shows total 34 times of offense transition occurred during first friendly match against China. And among each transition, there are transitions those distance per minute is well above average, which is over than 200 meter per minute, and far below average, which is lesser than 100 meter per minute. Then I also watched the video clips of them, and so it turned out in low intensity transition, players tend to lower game speed after regaining the ball when either of the following occurred. The player who regained the ball from the opponent kept passing side and back. And also, forward players didn't try to run behind the defensive line aggressively. But on the other hand, when it comes to high intensity transition, players tended to higher game speed after regaining the ball when either of the following occurred. So first of all, the player who regained the ball from the opponent tried passing forward, even though there's he didn't have much space to go forward. And also forward players kept breaking the defense line with aggressive penetration. Since we noticed that we need to work on offense transition, we put a lot of effort into offense transition phase in our training section until the first match of Asian game started. As a result, the high-speed running per minute in the quarterfinal against China increased 76% compared to the friendly match against the same opponent. Also, HSR distance generated by penetration increased 37% compared to the friendly match. And this is the most rewarding moment in terms of our effort putting into transition phases. In the round of 16 against Kyrgyzstan, 3 goals out of 5 occurred in offense transition. Take a look at this. So thank you so much for watching my presentation today. If you have any further questions or better ideas of wearable integration, feel free to DM me and DM me anytime.